Welcome to tonight's broadcast of the Shurima Group with Style Esports. I will be your play-by-play caster this evening. My name is Baymax. Hopefully you've seen me around. I'll be casting tonight with the lovely Axeman87. How's it going tonight, Axeman?
No, I'm doing just fine. I'm excited for this one tonight. We haven't seen Team Supernova, at least I haven't on a broadcast yet, and they're up against TDM, which is always a fan favorite. Got Scarility in the mid lane. This game, I know a couple series back, they were missing a mid laner, had a different one in there or something like that. A little bit of a change up as well. You got Mega Bro in the support role. That's fairly standard. Suds is Dividus, though, is going to be, I guess, subbing in for ADC, but I'm not really sure. It's kind of been a shakeup as far as the rosters have been in the last few weeks, so maybe that's their starting role.
And shakeup is the name of the game for Team Supernova because I think this is their first week actually playing right now, and they just had their first game of the season yesterday when they played it versus Coin Flippers and had a pretty convincing 2-0 win over Coin Flippers. And if you'll remember all the way back to last season, I know it was a long time ago, but Coin Flippers were the defending champions, right? Coin Flippers won the finals last season. So to see Team Supernova sort of come in here and mess them up pretty good, take that 2-0 off them. Supernova definitely looking to be a pretty strong team. TDM might have it cut out for him here.
Yeah, definitely. You're seeing a couple members from the old Team Dark Matter Academy team. I believe Bisk, Jay the Deeps, and JT were on that team. So Supernova has some familiar faces as well. I think from Bisk, normally we like to see Olaf. That's been banned away this game. Makes a lot of sense. Normally he picks up Xin Zhao when Olaf is banned, so maybe we'll get to see that pick. This is being drafted live as well. No pro draft tonight. So yeah, everything you're seeing is happening in real time. They're not just picking what they already picked in pro draft. So
wait, so you're telling me that Team Dark Matter just prioritized the Volibear first pick?
Absolutely. Volibear is so OP right now, and I 100% agree with the pick. That's definitely a good idea. I mean, it's a solid flex pick too. You have the jungle. You can also send in the top lane. So it's probably a good one. And Swain as well. It's kind of the same boat. I mean, we've seen a lot of support Swain recently, but I mean, you could just as easily put that in a solo lane too. So.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. I just looked up Volibear's win rate.
Yeah. No, he's nuts.
No, it's 41%. No,
really?
It's really low. I was going to say, like, I didn't think he was very good. I was like,
did they hotfix him?
This is Korea, so maybe it's different. And okay, anyway, I'm a little confused about a Volibear pick. We'll see what's happening. I never thought it was being that OP. Maybe you can explain that one to me a little bit later on. But we are moving into the draft here. We got Jarvan picked up, second ban face coming through as well. A lot of the broken mid and top laners and junglers off the table, right? Silas, Olaf, Yasuo, Echo, Zac, all off the table here. I do want to point out, Team Supernova, they've got a Shen with an Ezreal and a Thresh bot lane. Normally you pick Shen with sort of like a late game hyper carry. I don't think Ezreal Shen is normally that good. I'm wondering if Supernova are looking to draft some sort of a consistent DPS source mid lane, maybe a Corki, maybe something along those veins to get sort of an oomph or to provide sort of a secondary later game hyper carry for the Shen to ult to. Someone that the Stain United is good with.
Absolutely, and I'm like double checking on the Volibear, and he has like sub 50% win rates across the board in every region. I can't figure out why, because I swear last patch he was super OP. I don't know if they like hotfix nerfed him or something like that, but I guess, yeah, I'm not really sure why they picked him here. I mean, he is one of those champions that has some synergy that can come with him. He can turn off the turrets with the ultimate ability. That's going to help him with J4 if they want to dive or something like that. But yeah, maybe that might be more of a questionable pick than I initially let on. But I really like Volibear right now. I think the kid is really cool, but I guess not very good in terms of the meta right now. But yeah, anyway, that'll be that remains to be seen, I guess. But that should be Volibear jungle, I would imagine, and then Sign on top. But I guess
Volibear jungle. That looks like a,
I
don't know.
have no idea.
I'm guessing Jarvan jungle. I have a hard time believing that
Oh,
Jarvan's
well,
gonna go
yeah.
anywhere other than jungle.
I guess, yeah. So is it
probably
support?
It could be Volibear mid. I think it's probably Swain mid. Volibear support, if I had to guess.
Well, I don't like that.
We'll see. We got a little bit of time before the picks actually get locked in here, so they might do some swapping around still. For now, it looks like tentatively it's an Aphelios mid with a Volibear Swain bot lane, which I don't know how I feel about that one. I think the Aphelios mid is very punishable, but it looks like we are sticking with those picks. So, I guess we'll see. This whole draft from Team Dark Matter seems just a little bit crazy for me, but I really love the Cassiopeia coming in through the mid lane. I mentioned earlier in the draft that I thought Team SuperNova needed sort of a source of consistent DPS and someone that was, someone that would benefit a lot from JT's Stand United on the Shen. I think Cassiopeia is a fantastic option for that. She's also pretty strong in the meta right now and should do pretty well versus an 80 carry mid lane. So the Aphelios pick, I mean, we'll see what Scurrility can get done on it, but I am super concerned for Team Dark Matter's draft, honestly. I think their draft kind of scares me.
Yeah, I think we've done a lot of head scratching at TDM's draft, which is nuts to me because, over on the other side, SuperNova, great draft. This looks fine. I mean, Ezreal Thresh, fine. Trundle Jungle, that's good. Shentop, all this is a good competitive comp here, and I really like so much about it. Maybe a little bit more lackluster in team fights than a lot of other comps, but in terms of like just winning lane or hard scaling, this is fantastic. They're gonna have a lot of bot lane pressure from the Shen pick, and a lot of dragon pressure as well, which is exactly what Bisq wants. Bisq loves to just solo dragon and take that dragon soul win condition and just kind of run away with it. So this is a really, really good comp for them. But yeah, not to beat a dead horse, but the TDM can't draft meme, they're not helping themselves out with this one. I don't know.
I do want to say I don't think Team Dark Matter's draft can't win. Having a cheese pick bot lane, something like a Swain Volibear, Swain bot was big for a while. Haven't seen it as much recently in the Volibear. New reworked Volibear. No one really knows what the heck he does yet. Having that sort of a cheese factor can definitely win you fights. I don't know how effective it's going to be versus an Ezreal Thresh. That's a very safe lane, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Team Dark Matter's bot lane get pressure early on and maybe be able to use that to look for early objectives, look for early dragons, or even maybe look for kills. That all being said, like I said, it's hard to look for kills versus an Ezreal Thresh lane, and what are the Swain Volibear going to do? Are they going to be taking turret plates early on? Probably not. Are they going to be roaming mid lane early on, roaming with Demonic Xmas? Maybe that's an option. But I feel like Demonic Xmas is really going to need that Cataclysm before they're going to have the damage they need in any sort of a skirmish, in any sort of a roam. So I don't know. It remains to be seen. We'll see what ends up happening. We are only 20 seconds left on this spectator delay. And before we get into this super exciting game, we are going to take a short break, but we will be right back. You are not going to miss any of the action, so don't go anywhere. Give us just a couple of minutes while we load into this game, and we will be right back. Welcome back to the broadcast, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on this Monday night for a good old-fashioned Shurima showdown between Team Dark Matter and Team SuperNova. Should be an exciting game. I certainly hope it will be. I am joined on the cast this evening. I am Baymax. I'm joined on the cast this evening by Axeman87, as I said before. Axeman, what are you thinking about this game?
What's up, guys? Zaxman87, and two teams. We're in the Shurima groups. This is our top group. I'm thinking it's going to be a shootout, but I'm always looking for a shootout. Jay the Deeps, death sentence goes wide in the mid lane. Unfortunate on that one, didn't quite hit that, but looking good in the new Phoenix FPX skin. I like that Thresh skin, but level 1, I was looking mainly at player 10 for the Scion level 1. That Q is pretty effective in a death bush strat, but it looks like both teams have just kind of been content to 5 point, except for Jay the Deeps, who did initially go mid and missed that hook there, but it should be a bit of a slow start. I would think, unless TDM tries to do something, and we see here that they haven't really tried anything, so it should be fairly slow. My biggest concern here is really going to be the bot lane, which I think we've made perfectly clear in the pregame and in Champ Select, is that this Swain Volibear needs to do something. I mean, even if it goes even, I think that'll probably okay for TDM, but even if they go even, I'm not sure if that's going to be good enough, because then you're just going to have Ezreal scaling super hard, and that's not great either. So, my eyes right now are on the bot lane.
Yeah, for sure. And I think looking towards the first few minutes of this game, the ball is in Team Dark Matter's court. I think they've got to make something happen, especially once they start getting those level 6s. Really, the Cataclysm is probably the biggest ultimate to watch out for. Demonic Xmas in the jungle. Like you mentioned, Team SuperNova, they scale pretty hard. They got an Ezreal bot lane that's going to be looking to just sit back and scale and farm. Mid lane as well, a Cassiopeia that's going to have a Shen in her back pocket to keep her alive in team fights with that Stand United. Definitely terrifying. Ooh, bot lane. Stunned up is Skekis. I'm going to go with Skekis. Sagas?
Yeah, Sagas, yeah.
Sagas, stunned up, forced a flash. That is definitely what you want to see if you're Team Dark Matter. Forced a flash out of the Ezreal early on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they've blown the flash without having Demonic Xmas even come close to the bot lane, which is huge, right? I mean, now, oh my gosh, Sagas keeps getting nailed by Volibear there. That, to be honest, looks kind of OP,
no flash,
right?
Ignite coming out, charging a turn. A nice death sentence means Mega Bro is actually the one who's going to go down. Sagas not going to quite get ticked low enough by that Ignite. A little bit of a misplay from Team Dark Matter. Oh, a flash forward, though. Suds is dipping, is going to finally pick up that kill, trade it back with Death's hands. That sentence not going to land Jay the Deeps, even if it did land. I don't know what he would have done. Mid lane, Cataclysm, it's a 2 versus 2. Demonic Xmas and Bisk both duking it out with their mid lanes, but Skrilldy's got more HP and more mana, picking up the kill in that one. Team Dark Matter coming out on top.
Yeah, and that's critical too. I mean, when you're looking at a mid lane gank from a J4 onto a hard scaling champion, like, oh, this could be big. No, onto a hard scaling champion like an Aphelios, which is something we don't often see, but still a late game champ. Oh, Suds gets nailed by Death Sentence, but just like you're saying, now he doesn't really have anything else to do. Oh, Lantern!
Yeah, Lantern in for Sagas, but ooh,
it's gonna be close.
He was flashing forward. He's greeting way too hard for this kill. He's not even quite gonna get it, and teleport coming through from player 10 means that Jay of the Deeps is definitely gonna go down. Decimating smash, picking up a kill for the big beefy Scion at the top lane.
Yeah, so already so much fighting. 4 kills at 4 minutes here, and both teams really going at it. But yeah, the mid lane gank from Demonic Xmas was so crucial because Skrilldy picked up the kill. That's a champion that shouldn't be getting kills like that for a very, very long time, and it would have been very easy for Demon to pick it up for himself. I mean, he's an early game champion, so probably doing the most damage in that gank there. So yeah, it's crazy that Skrilldy was able to pick it up, and he's going to be scaling much harder moving forward.
100% agreed. Excellent of you to point that out. Right, the Aphelios with double buffs now mid lane. You'd hope Fisherman Juan and Bisk to maybe be able to bully this lane early, and they might look for counter gank. Look at this, no flash on Skrilldy. That was a nice pillar. That said, it's not quite going to land. Twin Fag's doing pretty good damage, but not good enough. Skrilldy does manage to keep himself safe. Still, though, a little bit of a freeze going over to Fisherman Juan. Might look for another gank.
Yeah, so that's, I guess, something they can glean from that whole trade. But other than that, Baymax, it really just looks like 3 members of Team SuperNova came mid for a lot of time and got essentially nothing. I mean, did Skrilldy flash? I don't think he flashed there, did he? I'm pretty sure he
He
flashed
doesn't
in the
have his
first
flash.
gank.
Yeah, the first
Yeah,
gank.
so they didn't get anything for their time. I mean, it's a little bit better for the support because you're leaving Sagus alone, getting solo experience, but that was pretty disastrous for Bisq. I mean, you can't have that many early ganks where you get essentially nothing, like not even a summoner spell. It's just too rough. Your time's too important in the early game, especially for Trundle, right? I mean, this is a jungler that wants to solo objectives. There's a jungler that wants to, hard farm camps. He has some setup for ganks and he has some gank ability, but if you're gonna commit to a gank like that, you have to convert.
Ooh, bot lane, Death Sentence. This time it's JT's coming through the teleport ignite out to Mega Bro. He's dropping very, very low flash from JT into a Shadow Dash. Gonna pick up that kill. Demonic Xmas looking for a counter egg now. It is a 2 versus 3, but low health bars on Team SuperNova. They are gonna be able to back their way off of that one. Another kill going over to, unfortunately, Jay of the Deeps.
Yeah, and that's pretty rough, right? I mean, Thresh also scales pretty well and does pretty well in the late game, so this is going to kind of help him stick with Sagus. So that's probably a good thing. It's never really super bad for your support to get some kills where they're mostly. Oh, here we go. Bisq in the top lane.
Yeah, Bisq went for the gank on player 10, got the stand united from JT, but player 10 just gonna walk out of that one after investing his unstoppable onslaught. That's a big cooldown, by the way, for SuperNova to not have. The stand united being down is huge. And look what happened. Not only is stand united down, but Bisq showed top lane, which enabled Demonic Xmas to go ahead and just pick up Dragon. First
and
Dragon
that's
picked up
so
for Dark
bad.
Matter.
Yeah, that's so bad, Baymax. I mean, J4 is a solid early game champion, but not the kind of champion you would expect to like get the first dragon, especially in my mind, not against Trundle. I feel like J4's strength in the early game is more just in the ganks, not really taking objectives. So, yeah, this is in my opinion, a huge misplay from Bisq. I mean, they did get the Unstoppable Force, but trading back Stand United, like you mentioned, not worth it in my opinion. I mean, that just seems to be another waste. And another gank where you didn't really get much for your time. But now Demonic Xmas engaged in some vertical jungling, might get caught out by Fisherman Juan.
Well, he's looking for the fight. There's no backup for a while. Fisherman Juan definitely wins this. Scurrility is running down, though. But for now, a little bit of a trade. Nothing else going to happen. Mega Bro dropping so low on the bot side. I do want to point out, Sakus ended up picking up that call for himself. So going to aid in this scaling a little bit. But for now, a little bit weaker as a result. But to your point that you were making earlier, I think you're 100% right. Stand United is such an important cooldown to blow. Stand United is huge because if you don't have that Stand United, oh my god, bot lane. Such a step, is picking up a kill. Sagus didn't even come to flash or heal. That was a big pick coming out. But I want to point out, SuperNova, they have a slow team comp with 2 mega carries. They need to keep alive that a week early. Stand United is such an important cooldown. Now, as we look at the top side of the map, player 10 finding himself on the receiving end of a gank again. Bisq just setting up a little bit of a tent in the top lane, finally picking up a kill. Bot lane, a dive might come through. Mega Bro gonna lock up Jay of the Deeps for a little bit too long, taking some turret shots. A 1-for-1 on the bot side. Both supports, but 2 kills traded away, 1-for-1, but Jay of the Deeps got another kill, and Sudgestipidus picked up the kill onto Jay of the Deeps. So definitely worth it for Dark Matter.
So right now, Baymax, I believe both sides in the bottom lane have Rick stole the Rift Herald. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's really good. He actually picked it up too, so he actually has the Rift Herald. That's wild. Okay, very well played from Demonic on that one. But I was just wanting to mention that both sides in the bottom lane essentially have the same amount of gold, but what we're seeing is that it's stacked more on the Swain, the carry, you would imagine, than it is onto Sagus, right? Sagus, most of that gold is stacked on the Jay of the Deeps. They have the 3 kills, obviously, and then Suds has most of the gold for their side. Oh, Jay of the Deeps just kind of getting caught out here. Isn't going to be able to get out of that one. Scurrility picking up another kill, by the way. This is crucial. Every time they have a skirmish, it's always Scurrility that picks up the kill, which is really, really solid. This is something Team Darkman is doing so well. I just mentioned in the bot lane, too. The carries are always getting the kills, and that's huge, right? I mean, if you're going to have scaling carries and they're always getting the gold, you're always going to outscale the enemy team if their carries aren't. So right now you have Sagus, who has 0 kills at the moment. He's out farming Suds by quite a bit and still has a lot of gold. He's only behind by like 400 gold at the moment, but I mean, Swain scales too, right? So at this point, Suds is fairly far on the lead. Bisque here looking for the gank.
Oh, Sagus with the Arcane Shift over the wall. Now a re-engage coming through. Nice pillar, and the Stand United means JT has arrived as well. Demonic Xmas going to get chunked so very low. Cataclysm into 3, but there's no follow-up. Doesn't matter. That's a kill going over to Bisque. Sagus may be looking for more, but that was a nice thundering strike from Mega Bro to delay any sort of initiation. Still though, finally a kill going over to SuperNova again. But again, it was on Bisque, who is, it's better than Jay of the Deeps, but still probably not who you wanted on most. Although Bisque roaming mid lane now, looking for a gank on a Scurrility, getting a lot of damage down. Twin Fangs doing huge things, forcing Scurrility's flash. But Fisherman Juan and Bisque gonna have to back off.
Yes, they do get a flash there. Bisque starting to heat up with the ganks, right? It had a pretty solid gank just bot lane just now. Blue Scurrility's flash in the mid lane. So starting to heat up as far as ganks go, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, I would expect J4 to out-gank Trundle in the very early game. But as the game goes on, Trundle's going to start to pick up with these ganks. Fisherman Juan in the mid lane.
Oh, he scrolled his dad, I think. Twin Shadows damage, not just
you're
poison.
Right.
Don't even need the Petrifying Gaze, but throw it in just for good measure. Fisherman Juan picking up a pretty big kill for himself.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think that was shutdown with gold. I might be wrong about that.
500.
It was shutdown gold? Okay, yeah. So he gets quite a bit of shutdown gold there. Yeah, that's huge. I mean, he's probably going to keep farming these waves for a little bit, but we take a look at the gold in hand. Yeah, he already has like 1,200. He could probably back right now if he wanted to and finish, oh goodness, Luden's Echo, but I wouldn't.
Archangel Staff. Yeah, he's going for that
Archangel Staff. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Got the tier in hand. Got to pick that sucker up. Although one concern for SuperNova here is though, like look at the dragon, right? Dragon just spawned, and even though Scurrility died, that actually is working towards Dark Matter's favor in terms of setting up for this dragon, because his reset timer puts him back on the map sooner than Fisherman Juan, who stuck around to shove in that wave. Now it's Dark Matter with the inside track starting up this dragon, and really no chance from SuperNova to mount any sort of an offense other than maybe a steal from Bisque, and looking like he might be wanting to go over the wall. Oh my god, I stand corrected. Sagas with a true shot barrage. That should never have worked. Demonic Xmas had the smite available, but just didn't quite get it off. A nice steal.
That's why you try it, folks. That's why you always see True Shot Barrages going for those objectives and never hitting until they do, right? But that was pretty wild. Yeah, they are going to drop the Rift Herald in the mid lane. This should get a considerable amount of plating. This won't destroy the turret, though. It'll still have a little bit of health left.
Skrilly might be destroyed, though. That's a ton of damage from Twin Fangs. Wow. Do not disrespect how much DPS a Cassiopeia can put out, especially with that Conqueror stacking.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. Does have that Archangel Staff, by the way, put that reset in. Scurrility has the Infinity Edge, but I mean, I just isn't going to have the kind of damage until at least 2-3 items to be able to keep up with Cassiopeia. Even then, there's the potential that Fisherman Juan just like always has more DPS than Scurrility does until very much later in this game. My understanding is that Cassiopeia doesn't scale too badly either, so.
Bisque looking for another gank bot side. A nice death sentence, forcing a flash from Sergeantipidus, and Mega Bro is next in line. Gonna use that Stormbringer to hop himself out to safety, just barely getting out a little bit of HP, but that's 2 flashes burned from the Team Dark Matter bot lane.
Yeah, and that's rough that they had to expend that cooldown. That's a pretty big cooldown for the Volibear, obviously the ultimate ability. It also, I feel, brings most of the utility to the support role that Volibear would bring nowadays since the rework, is being able to turn off turrets and be able to like tank up pretty quickly. Now they don't have that, right? I mean, you use it to get out of fight, so that's pretty rough. 2 platings taken away as the plating does drop here on Summoner's Rift down the bot lane for Sagas. So take a look at the gold. We've been monitoring that down the bot lane for most of this game. And yeah, both characters. Oh, Scurrility could be going down again. Nope, Demon's got it.
In trouble though. Stand United though. JT has arrived. A nice Petrifying Gaze onto 2, but a huge unstoppable onslaught from player 10 trading back that kill. Now it's a party in the mid lane. Bisque and Demonic Xmas have both arrived. Mega Bro is here. I'm not even sure when that happened, but you know what? Jay of the Deep's pulling out a nice death sentence, picking up another kill. 2 for 1 so far in favor of SuperNova. Might not be over yet. A flash forward from Jay of the Deep's, looking for another hook, fishing for something, but coming up empty. Still though, 2 for 1 in favor of SuperNova.
Yep, getting a positive trade on that one. Sending Scurrility back to the Death Chamber once again. So Scarilli pretty much lost all the lead that they had garnered in the early game there. And I believe what we saw most in that matchup is just Scarilli just always having more range than Cassiopeia. And what we've seen in the last few minutes is that eventually it just didn't matter. Fisherman Juan had the survivability and the burst damage, just the DPS, to just wade through the first couple of hits from Scarilli and then just absolutely one-shot him. Or burst him down. But I don't think this matchup is going to go in favor of Scarilli at any point until like maybe very late in the game. I'm still not really familiar with Aphelios. They've changed him a lot in the last few patches and since he came out, really. But so do you have any insight on that? How is this matchup going to go in the late game? Is Cassiopeia still going to be able to take out Scarilli, or?
Cassiopeia scales very well, but she's got to have the team that can support and enable that. And I think that Fisherman Juan does have that, right? Between Jay of the Deeps and JT, there's a lot of tools that SuperNova have to enable Fisherman Juan to sort of stay up close enough to that front line, get the DPS off that he's got. But Aphelios scales very well as well. And I would be tempted to say that it comes down to sort of a micro, like who can land what, right? Basically, if the Petrifying Gaze lands, or if one of them gets locked up by somebody else, they are going to die before they can get any of that DPS off. But if Scarilli can avoid the death sentences, can avoid the Petrifying Gaze, which is going to be hard, then I think Aphelios can dish out more damage and does outscaled. But it's all about the setup. It's all about the rest of the team fight and who can dance around the team fight better, who can avoid what skill shots better. Both champions scale very, very well. That's in its bot lane. Jay the Deep's going in, a nice play to Mega Bro, but Scarilli is bot lane. That is not such as Dipidus. This is a whole different creature. You cannot trade against this Aphelios. Another kill picked up for Scarilli now, as Bisq maybe hovering nearby looking for some sort of a counter engage, but again, it's a 2 versus 3. You just cannot look for that.
Yeah, and you already mentioned the interesting... Oh, here's a tower dive.
Yeah, Mega Bro with the Stormbringer under a turret, but it's just biting off more than he can chew. He's going to go down. The turret's only disabled for, what, 2 seconds? And in that time, teleport down from JT and from Fisherman Juan means the numbers advantage is now in favor of SuperNova, who are going to have free reign to set up over this dragon if they want to, thanks to Mega Bro's death.
Yeah, I believe Mega Bro's level 9, which would mean his ult has 1 point in it. I think it's 1.5 seconds is the amount of time to turn off the turret for. So it's not a lot, right? I mean, it's you have to have a lot of good communication. It didn't really seem like they had that there, but Bisq is going to be able to pick up the second dragon for their team, the third dragon in the game, and a Cloud Dragon. Cloud Soul, by the way. You may have noticed in the last couple minutes. And yeah, so they're going to have that Dragon Ball on their way to the next Dragon Soul. This Rift Herald should take out the mid lane turret. Might even get a second charge out, depending if they can maintain control over the area. I think they probably get it.
That eye closed up when Shelly went to look for that charge. Didn't quite get the turret, but, you know, second charge, never a bad thing. Although, Team Dark Matter, you know, very overwhelmingly likely, I would say, to trade back this mid lane turret, because SuperNova on resets. It's only Jay the Deeps and Fisherman Juan here trying to hold on to this turret. Miasma is pretty hard to push through if you're looking at sieging a turret. So, you know, I stand corrected. Fisherman Juan is able to hold on to that turret for now, but still, mid lane turret for Team SuperNova getting pretty low in its own right. Have to imagine Team Dark Matter are going to be looking to set up a siege of their own in the near future, Rift Herald or not.
Yeah, for sure. So back there just a couple of minutes ago, we kind of saw Scarilli and Suds Dipidus have a little lane swap there. Scarilli going bot lane with Mega Bro, and Suds is going mid lane to contend with Fisherman Juan, which was rough. I mean, Suds was like level 9 staring at Fisherman Juan level 12 or something like that. So just kind of trying to desperately hold on to the tower. But all of a sudden, Scarilli is like massive in the bot lane. That kind of led to that dive attempt we saw from Mega Bro. Is maybe he thought that they had enough power to be able to do that. Well, you have to keep in mind that Aphelios is super immobile, right? So if you're going to have a tower dive, he's got to be like really close to you to be able to have any kind of effect, because even though his range is really long, it's not longer than a turret. So you have to be pretty close to be able to hit the enemies there. And I don't think he was just close enough. I think... Oh, here we go. Yeah, Mega Bro might be going down again.
Yeah, swallowing death sentence after death sentence. Jay the Deep's now low, but still alive. A stand united from JT. This is all Team SuperNova all day long. 2 for nothing so far. Can they look for more? Player 10 and Mega Bro just taken to their deaths. But Scarilli, keep an eye on that bot lane, might be threatening that turret. Looks like he is going to recall as Fisherman Juan answers that pressure. Still, though, mid lane under siege.
Yep, they're going to take that inner turret, and they're going to have it too. But yeah, just kind of keeping up the push here. Might be looking to back off. We do have the Baron coming up in just a couple seconds. I don't think they can take that, though. That would be like an extremely early Baron. So they probably don't have the ability quite to be able to do that. Down the bot lane, we're seeing Fisherman Juan just kind of hard shoving bot lane, maybe trying to get that tower. Has Bisque in the area as well, so might be an objective they're looking for. But CDM kind of comes running out of their base, looking towards the top side of the map. Maybe set up some vision control around the Baron. They might even think that that SuperNova are looking to take that objective, so definitely want to make sure that's not happening. But it is going to be Fisherman Juan taking this bottom outside turret there.
Fisherman Juan, nice little split push action going on, taking that turret away from Team Dark Matter, evening up the turret score 3-3. And as we are moving into the 20 or so minute point of this game, looking at the gold difference, we're looking at about a 4K gold lead for Team SuperNova, which I think says a lot because this is a team that scales, in my opinion, better. You do have the Ophelios late game scaling win condition for Team Dark Matter, but other than that, their options are kind of limited. And there's a lot of pick potential coming through from Team SuperNova to get on top of Scarility, who, by the way, is kind of far up right now. I think if Team SuperNova had the vision that we had, they could have collapsed on him and done something about that. But didn't quite, of course. You know, they don't have, unfortunately, the ability to disable Fog of War and see the entire map. And they shouldn't, to be clear. I am not advocating that teams should have that ability, but just saying, Team SuperNova, I think they're in a very strong spot at the moment. And with third dragon spawning, you're right, it was a cloud soul. And SuperNova are getting pretty close to that soul, right? Especially if they can sort of clinch this next dragon here.
Yeah, absolutely. They have Suds, who's got a fairly good late game as well, but so behind in gold at the moment. I mean, even just behind Sagas, that I don't think he's going to be relevant. Despite maybe hitting some power spikes later into the game. When they had that maxed out Roa, for instance, that's going to be pretty good. But yeah, it's like they're almost 3,000 gold behind Fisherman Juan at the moment. So we're talking about AP carries. You know, Suds isn't going to be relevant at all. So yeah, it really is just going to be the Scarility show. It's got 2 items right now. Next item should be doing some pretty serious damage. Not going to have that in time for this dragon, though. It's coming up in 5 seconds. This should be a pretty good fight. This will be one of the closer fights is over this objective here. You know, both top laners do have teleport, I believe, so this should be a 5v5.
Stand United available for JT as well, and Vision Control currently in favor of Team Dark Matter, but JT Deep says, I don't care, steps forward for a nice death sentence. The Stand United interrupted. JT will not be paying this fight a visit. Sagas on the backline being chunked so low. Fisherman Juan still untouched, but for now it's a 2 versus 1 in favor of SuperNova. Somehow Sagas is still alive. Seraph's Embrace just barely keeping Fisherman Juan alive for just long enough to trade back that kill onto Suggestive, but it's a 3 for 3, but guess what? Only one team has got a primary carry still alive, and that is Team Dark Matter. Scarility looking strong as hell on this Ophelios.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still alive. He's gotten Fernum up. He's hard clearing these waves so fast. Gosh, that's OP. Oh my goodness, what is Riot Games doing? But now they're looking for this mid lane turret, and they'll be taking that down pretty quickly as well. JT looking to stop this, but I don't know if this is a good idea.
I'm going to go with no. But maybe the answer is actually yes. Scarility hanging around for a little bit too long.
Oh.
Gonna have to burn the cleanse and still go down. Also, Scarility used Flash in that last fight, and 40-second death timer means that Team Dark Matter, they overstayed. They hung around too long. They got greedy. They could have taken that dragon. JT now face checking into player 10, but he's pretty tanky on the Shen. Mega Bro has arrived. He's hooked up by the death sentence. Bisque taken low, but still alive. This beefy front line from SuperNova just refused to die. JT finally gonna get shut down, but Sagas is here. Fisherman Juan is here, and they are ready to clean up the mess. 2 kills going over, 3 kills going over. Suggestive, but is running for his life. A triple kill for Sagas. A triple kill for Sagas. It was Sagas. I keep looking at the name and thinking, oh yeah, that's right. It's Sagas. Triple kill for Sagas. Team SuperNova, they wipe the fight. They get the dragon.
Yeah, and that's huge for him again. Double triple kills there for Sagas in back-to-back fights. It's going to mean that they're able to pick up the dragon. You know, I think the craziest part for me, Baymax, was that Scarility and then player 10 had won that fight, right? And then just didn't take the dragon. It was up. Like it was definitely up. I guess because they didn't have their jungler and they were worried Bisque was going to try and steal it from them. But I don't know, man. I feel like you try to burst it down or something, and then if he steals it, he steals it. Like, that's rough, but it would have been better than this, right? Just kind of overstaying mid lane and giving up the dragon anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe you just take the reset. I don't know, but you definitely don't overstay mid lane, and yeah, that's super unfortunate for him there. Scurrility now, the biggest carry back on Summoner's Rift. Maybe still looking to overextend. I don't know. He seems pretty
Yeah,
far up.
I don't know about this one. Death sentence. So just dip it. It's eating that mystic shot. Rooted up though. Jay the Deep's gonna go down. That is a kill going over. A nice look. A nice pick from Scurrility. He's got a lot of damage, and Bisque just wasn't quite close enough to support his support.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Aphelios, because of the crit item changes, is going to have a little bit more movement speed than he used to have in the last patch. So that might be factoring in a little bit here. My understanding is that the movement speed isn't very much, but any amount of movement speed, makes the difference. Movement speed is Sega's taking some damage there. Any amount of movement speed is really okay.
This could be a big petrifying gaze. Mega Bro is dead. Player 10 is next in line. Scurrility not able to even get close enough to get this damage off. Fisherman Juan finally gonna go down. Now JT finding himself maybe a little bit too far back, taking a lot of damage. Such as Stipidus doing actually so much work with the demonic ascension. I was sleeping on him. That was a crazy amount of DPS from the Swain. 4 for 3, but again, the 2 carries from Dark Matter still alive.
Yep, that Swain hits different late game. 727, the scoreline on the Swain, absolutely massive. Scurrility, hit by Death Sentence here. I don't know if that's going to matter. It doesn't look like it, but now they're going to be taking this mid lane inhib and hopefully backing off. Yeah, okay, we are backing off this time as they do pick up the inhib, but yeah, you said it, man. Swain doing tons of damage in that last fight. Has the Leander, he says a fully stacked row as well, and that's pretty much the perfect storm for a Swain. I don't need too many more items to do tons of damage. Does have Electrocute as well. That could be factoring in into some of the burst damage we're seeing from the Swain. But yeah, I told you, he scales pretty hard. It's got the Zonias now.
I think the key factor in that fight being such a strong win for Dark Matter was it was a 5v4. We talked about how important it was to have those supportive characters alive from Team SuperNova to set up and allow and enable Fisherman Juan and Sagas to have the room they need to get their DPS off. Jay the Deeps is a huge part of that. With his Flay, with his dead sentence, he's got so much zone control. Him being dead means the world. It means Scurrility and Sudzis can step up with impunity, basically, and not really care all that much about getting caught, because who else is going to catch them? Bisque and JT are a nice, beefy frontline. They don't have that much crowd control. They're mostly just frontline. They're mostly just standing there and looking pretty and getting in the way, which is good. But you need a little bit more than that. You need the kind of crowd control that a Flay and a Death Sentence are going to provide. And right now, Team SuperNova, they have a 5-on-5 if they wanted, but Team Dark Matter starting up this Baron, they are burning it down quick. JT is going to try to get vision on it, but he stepped a little bit too far forward. He's melting. You cannot face check that 5 versus 1. He goes down. Now Jay the Deep's looking for a hook, does find Scurrility, but his flash is back up, his cleanse is back up, and it's only Bisque on the carry. Meanwhile, Mega Bro, a big cataclysm onto Fisherman Juan. That's the biggest damage source of SuperNova gone off the map. A 4 for nothing. 4 for nothing. Team SuperNova running for the hills. It's only Sagas left alive, and he's got nowhere to go. Never move from Sudzis, locking him in place for so long. Scurrility putting the nail in that coffin. Axeman, I think Team Dark Matter just won.
Yeah, I think they did too. There's no inhib to stop them. They do have super minions with them as well, having taken the inhib earlier. This has to be the end of the game. I mean, there isn't even a member from Team SuperNova who is alive right now to be able to see their Nexus go up in flames. And TDM are going to take game 1, Baymax.
You know,
I'm in shock.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I really thought Team SuperNova were going to win that game. But I feel like Team Dark Matter, they were a little bit shaky early on, but when it came to those team fights and playing around each other, they just came together in a big way. They roamed the map as 5. They were looking for those picks. They were finding picks. The Cataclysms, especially from the last fight, the Cataclysm from Demonic Xmas came up hugely important. Fisherman Juan caught in that again and again. Didn't have Flash, by the way. Did not have Flash from the last fight, so still not able to get out of the Cataclysm. And that is really the only tool that Fisherman Juan had to get out of the Cataclysm is a Cassiopeia, right? No mobility. If Sagas gets caught up, he can get out. He can shift to safety. Fisherman Juan, not so much. He is just a dead snake lady. So I like Team Dark Matter. They looked confident in those team fights. I don't didn't like their team composition as much as I liked Supernova's, but I feel like Team Dark Matter just came together in a really impressive way and played around their win conditions fights, played around each other very, very well, and kept Scurrility alive very, very well.
Yeah, and I want to talk about the unsung heroes of TDM this game. First and foremost, in my mind, has to be Demonic Xmas. Picking up the first dragon of the game is huge for me. I mean, I feel like the only time J4 picks up first dragon into Trundle is if they get like a huge gank off bot lane and then just kind of roll. They just win that gank so hard that they just roll up and take dragon off of it. In this one, he just totally out macroed. I mean, Bisk went top for whatever reason, and Demonic Xmas was like, "Cool, I'll just take dragon," because they, it's a super good call. They were able to pick up that first dragon, which was super impactful. If they hadn't have done that, Baymax, Team Supernova had Dragon Soul. I'm pretty sure they had 3 there. So if they had picked up that first one as well, they would have had the soul. So, I think that play alone could have meant the game for them. But also, Demonic built Warrior Enchantment on this game, and I feel like a lot of traps that J4s fall into is building Warrior Enchant because they get ahead, and then kind of overstepping their boundaries, giving away too many deaths, just kind of giving up a lot. Demonic didn't do that. He ended the game with the most assists on their team, despite building early damage, was able to perfectly transition into that more support role that J4s have later in the game, and just overall played really well.
Definitely agree with that. All right. We are going to go to a short break before game number 2. We will come back for game number 2. This is a best of 3, so Team Supernova and Team Dark Matter are going to be looking to duke it out again. Team Supernova ended up coming away from game 1 with their tail between their legs, a victory for Team Dark Matter. What will happen in game number 2? Can Team Dark Matter pull out another win? Can they do it with a draft as interesting as this one, utilizing a Volibear first pick into the Philios mid? We will find out in just a few short minutes. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Welcome back, everyone. We are in Champion Select for Game 2 of the series already. I know it's a little bit uncharacteristic of Style Esports to be doing things on time or quickly, but it seems like tonight is the night for that to happen, which is awesome. So hopefully you guys can appreciate that. I definitely do. It's awesome that we got things moving here. All the love to Team SuperNova and TDM for keeping things on track as we move into the second game. They are excited. They're ready to go. They want to get on the Rift, and I do too. So, Axeman, with a lot of love for these teams and what they're doing. How are you doing tonight, and what are you thinking going into this next game here?
What's up, guys? I'm X97, and I'm doing just fine, Baymax. And much like a fine motor oil, I too like to keep things moving. So let's keep going with the broadcast here. Right out of the gates, it's going to be the Swain ban here from Team SuperNova. That's probably a good idea. I think that was probably the straw that broke the camel's back a couple times in those fights for sure. I would have to imagine if Elios also gets banned here because scurrility was just really, really big on the champion. I feel like that's also just a good ban in general anyway, but I guess they disagree because they don't have an Elios ban. Instead electing to ban Silas here, so no Silas going into game 2.
I do think the Swain ban is interesting, and I feel like the Swain ban is maybe not going to solve the problem, because honestly, when I was watching when it was happening bot lane, to me it looked more like the story of Sagus not playing all that well. If I'm being honest, I was not impressed by his Ezreal at all. He often arcane shifted things like late or not at all, wasn't ready, was always getting caught when he really shouldn't have been. I feel like that was a recurring theme of the bot lane, and then later on in team fights, maybe even just played a little bit too safe, didn't put himself in positions where he could get his damage out. So, you know, I'd like to see him on maybe something else this time around. I don't know if taking Swain away is going to help out with that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Swain is an aggressive pick that could still ball hard off of those picks. So keeping Sagus, keeping Sagus away from a Swain might be a good thing. I also like the idea of putting Jay the Deeps on Morgana. I think that could be good. Morgana Caitlyn is a super strong lane if this is what TDM ends up picking up here. That is definitely a big change of pace from something like an Ezreal Thresh, and it's something that would enable TDM's bot lane a lot more. So I'm actually super upset that they didn't end up picking that, because it looks like it is going to be Sagus on the Ezreal again.
Yeah, it would have to be some pretty weird stuff that would have to go on for Ezreal not to go in the bot lane, but we've already seen some pretty weird stuff do pretty well tonight. So maybe that's what SuperNova need to do. Could be Scurrility back on Aphelios, but this time with a Kaiser kicker in Zyra in the bot lane, I would say. But yeah, it actually gets locked in here. So another kind of a strange comp here for TDM. They're going to have Zyra this time, which is not quite as strange as Volibear support, I would say, but still one of the less seen, I would think, mage supports in the bot lane. I feel like we probably see it more here in Style Esports than we do in solo queue, but still not one of those bigger ones. We see a lot more Morganas, I would say. And speaking of, we got the Morgana pick on the enemy team already, so got more bans coming through. Rek'Sai pick is exciting. How you feel about that one?
You know, it's a nice aggressive pick. It's certainly more aggressive than Trundle. So Bisk is going to be probably empowered and able to look for more stuff early on, look for more ganks early on, which could definitely be a good thing. Honestly, I'm thinking we'll really have to wait and see what the top half of the map ends up being for TDM, just to sort of analyze how that is going to end up breaking down. I think, you know, we might end up seeing a mid laner or a top laner with a lot of utility to set up for that Rek'Sai, maybe like an Orianna or a Syndra or something. I am mostly looking at one pick that came through again right now, and that is Scurrility on the Aphelios. It looks more than likely that SuperNova just ended up drafting, or SuperNova, no, TDM. Sorry, I got my sides mixed up here. Looks more than likely that TDM just ended up picking up Aphelios mid lane again. And by the way, this time clearly first picking it, saying, you know what, we're confident in it. We are so confident that we are going to pick it with you knowing it's an Aphelios mid. And we are just going to throw the ball in your court and say, deal with it. And you know what? I don't know if SuperNova are going to be able to deal with it, but I think that's risky from Team Dark Matter, because Aphelios is an abusable champion, right? I think if Fisherman Juan does pick something like Syndra or Orianna, that would be really big here. That's a really strong pick into an Aphelios. Should always have lane pressure and is a strong 2v2 with the Rek'Sai. So, you know, there's definitely some options available for TDM or for SuperNova. I want to see them pick a strong mid laner that can abuse Scurrility.
Yeah, definitely something with range, right? Because that really is how Scurrility. I don't want to say he won that lane, but he was having some success very early in that lane, and it was really down to both the efforts of Demonic Access to J4, which I think was another huge part of it, but also just the range. I mean, you can hit Cassiopeia when she's not hitting you. That's how you win fights, right? Yeah, I think the Orianna would probably be the perfect storm, the perfect counter to Aphelios, because just completely outranging him, and then bringing arguably a little bit more to team fights earlier in the game than Aphelios is bringing. But as we move further into this already spicy draft, got the Orin pick coming through for player 10, maybe taking a little bit less of an aggressive champion. That Sion was fairly aggressive. And then Sejuani for Demonic Exodus, also a little bit less aggressive, right? I mean, I would say than the J4. And actually, Katarina, oh man, coming through
That's
for
an
Fisherman
option.
1.
That's an
Yeah,
option.
assassinating the Aphelios is certainly an option. What I don't like is that Aphelios does technically have point and click CC in his kit. It's obviously very unreliable because you have to have the gun. But other than that, I would say this is going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, obviously, Aphelios definitely outranges Katarina, so this isn't going to be a fun early game. But yeah, once Cat hits level 6, this could get really bad for Scurrility really quickly. My only issue, Baymax, is that's essentially how the Cassiopeia matchup went, and TDM ended up winning that game. So I'm not sure if this is going to be better than Cassiopeia was for Fisherman 1, but only time will tell.
I would have a difficult time over expressing my concerns for the SuperNova draft, which might sound silly because I said the same thing about TDM last time, but at least last time TDM had the early game in a big way, and they had lane pressure, and I said that. But this time around, Katarina, Rek'Sai, and Set can be strong early, but I am really struggling to see how these champions play off each other. How SuperNova has really any team fight at all without some sort of a crazy flanks showstopper, maybe a flash engage from JT. That's it. They have no way in. They don't have good setup for Bisq. What are they relying on? Are they relying on TDM face checking into Jay of the Deeps and eating a Dark Binding? Maybe. That's not a great thing to rely on, even if that is what you're relying on. TDM have drafted 2 mega tanks. They have Demonic Xmas on Sejuani, player 10 on the Ornn, these big, beefy frontliners that can just stand in front and eat the Dark Binding and not care at all. And by the way, while they're eating the Dark Binding, they're popping the Call of the Forge God and Glacial Prison, and they're counter-engaging, and they're murdering everybody. The amount of crowd control coming through from Demonic Xmas and player 10 sets up so well for Scurrility and Sudsistipidus on these hyper carries, and to put the cherry on top, Mega Bro is on a Zyra, right? He's probably going to have pressure in lane anyway. So even though I'm 100% convinced TDM have the late game in a big way, they're probably going to have pressure bot lane and maybe top lane as well, maybe even mid lane. I don't know. I think the ball is definitely in SuperNova's court, and more specifically, I think it's on Bisq and JT to somehow find ways to make fights come through early and make them strong and make them effective. And then there are some tools for that, but I'm very concerned for SuperNova. If they don't get snowballing early, if Fisherman Juan doesn't get early kills, if Bisq doesn't get ahead early, I think SuperNova are going to have a ridiculously hard time winning this game, even if they do get ahead early. I really like TDM's team count.
Yeah, I would say I like it as well. I mean, the set pick, probably the only thing that would maybe change my mind, maybe with Rek'Sai as well. But I haven't seen Bisq Rek'Sai, so it's kind of unproven to me. I just saw Sagas's Ezreal, and that it didn't go over very well. And Katarina's always just seemed really coin flippy to me. So yeah, I'm super unsold on the SuperNova draft, but I could see how they would hard win this game. Just there's some good champions here. If Sagas just kind of comes from backfield out of left field with this Ezreal pick and just pops off, then they're going to have a pretty good game. But yeah, there's just so many weapons for TDM, man. Aphelios and Kaiser are so powerful. And they hit power spikes at different parts of the game, too. I don't know if we've talked about that. Kaiser, kind of a solid early game duelist, is going to be very, very strong. And Aphelios is going to cover whatever late game weaknesses Kaiser has. So It's a very good little duo if you have the front line, the support for it, and I feel like they really do.
All right, we are going to go to a short break, but we'll be right back in just a few minutes with these teams live on the Rift. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Rift, ladies and gentlemen. We got game number 2 of Team Dark Matter versus Team SuperNova. Team Dark Matter came away victorious after a pretty close game number 1. Now SuperNova trying to claw their way back into this one. Can they do it? We got the Shurima showdown of the night going down here. Should be a good one. X-Man, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking we're about to see a pretty good game. I hadn't ever seen that pool party Rek'Sai, um, I guess home guard animation with the jet ski. That was pretty funny. I actually never seen that. That skin's been out for how many years now? But that was pretty funny. But yeah, both teams kind of 5 pointing, I think, is what you might call this. There are some points here, but maybe not 5 on both sides. Both teams content to just kind of stare at each other from across the river. Oh, JT actually walking directly into player 10 in the top river.
Yeah, looking for a little bit of a clash between those two. By the way, X-Man, I think I might have got a little bit of a sync. I'm at minute 20 right now. Minute 21, minute 22.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. All right, sounds good. We're not that far off. Cool, awesome. Okay, we're good to go. A little bit of clash in the early game. And again, you know, last time I said the ball was in TDM's court to make something happen early, and they did. I think this time around, it's the opposite. SuperNova have got to get off the ground early. They've got to find kills around, especially the top half of the map, mid lane and top lane. Bisq, you see him starting on the bot side, so he is going to work his way up there. Maybe look for a gank mid lane or top lane level 3. I think he definitely should do that, right? Try to punish Scurrility, get him behind early, get kills on Fisherman Juan, maybe onto Bisq or JT as well. I think that is the best option SuperNova have for winning this game. But to be honest with you, Axeman, I don't like SuperNova's comp. I don't think they're going to make it happen. I think we're going to see a 2-0 in favor of TDM.
Yeah, I mean, I think things probably lean heavily that way. Probably the thing I like most about this comp that I already mentioned is Bisq and JT on Rek'Sai and Set. And Bisq brings a lot of setup to ganks, especially early in the game. Brings damage too, but mostly setup. That knockup is really, really good and very difficult to get away from for most laners. And we are going to see Bisq down the bot lane here.
Yeah, might not get anything. Gonna go ahead and unburrow, looking for Sudzis, but spotted on a ward, a smart ward by TDM's bot lane, keeping them alive. And Bisq ends up just wasting a little bit of time here.
Yeah, and I think I would have liked to have seen a little, dark binding there. Oh, the Mega Bro doesn't get them too much, but Just Jay the Deeps showing them that they can indeed hit that one. Bisk for the mid lane gank now. This might be bad for Scurrility.
Yeah, gonna probably have to flash over the wall, but doesn't quite have time. Does have time, actually. Ignite not gonna take him low enough. Flashing over the wall, trading flashes with Bisk, but, you know, Bisk is a lot more mobile than Aphelios, right? A lot more mobile than Scurrility is. A flashless Aphelios is very easy to kill.
Yeah, absolutely. You basically wait for your E to come off of cooldown. If you're this Rek'Sai, you just go back mid. I mean, he's probably going to finish taking this Scuttle Crab, but yeah, almost immediately back into the mid lane, I would imagine.
I got some criticism for Scurrility, by the way. That should never have been allowed to have happened. TDM knew exactly where Bisk was. They knew that he just ganked bot side. It wasn't bot side river. Scurrility should have been aware that he could have been ganked. Maybe placed a ward or called Demonic Xmas over, said, "Hey, I'm too far up. I might get ganked." That shouldn't have probably been allowed to happen. So a little bit of a misplay from TDM there. But credit to Bisk, did end up getting a successful gank. Still though, bot lane Scuttle Crab ends up going over to Demonic Xmas, and Bisk ends up going back into his jungle without counter ganking mid again so far.
Yeah, not going back mid. Scurrility kind of doing well to stay towards the bottom side, where Bisk would have to imagine that Demonic Xmas is waiting for the counter gank. So maybe a good idea to not go back mid. I think it's kind of a luck of the draw type deal, but I think if you're Bisk, you probably just say, "Look, I haven't really farmed any of my jungle camps yet. I literally just took blue and started ganking, so maybe I need to take at least a few of these camps before I get any more ganks in." He's kind of back-to-back ganks so far. He's going to take the reset here. Pretty well even with Demonic Xmas. Demonic has an extra camp. That's probably, just based off the ganks alone, so nothing too concerning at the moment. No power spikes coming through just yet. JT already picked up the Vampiric Scepter. That could have an impact in top lane, but because Ornn can just build items up there, I don't think it's going to be too impactful.
Yeah, top lane is sort of just a stalemate. Neither of these champions really able to get a decisive lead over each other for now. Vamp Scepter might end up doing something. I really think JT is probably gonna have to wait till he's got his Bork finished before he really is gonna start seeing any sort of a big victory in that lane. But for now, just to sort of duke it out, I'm looking more towards the mid lane for SuperNova to try to make something happen, right? Bisk and Fisherman Juan, they definitely should try to find some way to abuse the fact that Scurrility no longer has flash if they can. The only unfortunate thing there is though is that Bisk ended up burning his flash in the mid lane gank as well. If Bisk hadn't, if he held onto it, he could still look for a flash fight on Scurrility, but he's gonna have to opt for counter jungling instead and maybe burrowing under this wall to look for a gank on Scurrility. We might see a fight here though. Demonic Xmas about to run into Bisk, both level 5. Nice charge forward from Demonic Xmas, applying that Theory of the North passive, looking for the stun. Skirmishing Smite gonna slow up this Landshark. Stun is gonna connect from the Permafrost. Bisk dropping very, very low, not quite gonna go down, but that might be a dragon opportunity for TDM.
Yeah, and I think maybe another misplay. I mean, normally with your Rek'Sai, the tunnel doesn't get you far enough in short enough amount of time to really work as an escape tool. You really have to get over a wall for it to work like that. So maybe just using that in open space, almost resulting in Bisk death there. But now it's Team SuperNova. I believe Team SuperNova. Yeah, Team SuperNova looking for TDM looking for the dragon. My goodness, I'm getting mixed up already. All of these players, I think, have at one time or another been on the same team, which is kind of ruining my night here, Van-X. But we're getting through it.
I believe in you. TDM on blue side, SuperNova on red side. For those who are at home trying to keep up, who are getting as confused as we are, that is what it is, I promise you. Now mid lane, Scurrility using the exhaust. It looked like Fisherman Juan might have been looking for an all-in, but it's Scurrility who's looking for the all-in, forcing the flash from Fisherman Juan with the Moonlight Vigil. It's a lot of DPS coming out from this Aphelios. Gotta be scary. I think maybe Team SuperNova there having flashbacks to the last game at this point.
No, just back, Fisherman. Oh man, it feels super bad. I feel for the Katarina really, because it feels really bad to get pushed out of lane like that, and just have to let a wave crash into your turret right in front of you. But I mean, you cannot give up a death to Scurrility right now. That would just be absolutely disastrous if you let this Aphelios start to snowball. But Bisk is in the area. Scurrility's super far up.
I don't think he can do this, X-Men. He's not got level 6
I don't know.
yet.
Yeah.
He's not got level 6 yet. What's he gonna do? It's a full health Aphelios. Fisherman Juan can't help. It looks like Bisk is just gonna have to opt for this Scuttle Crab instead. Is he getting level 6 off that? Still not. So still a level lead in favor of Demonic Xmas. These junglers might be about to clash. Remember, Fisherman Juan did just reset. Bisq Flash is back up. He might have to use it here. Player 10 kind of stuck under his turret. JT is winning that lane for now. So looks like TDM are going to be forced to back off despite having mid lane pressure. Still, though, it's a very slow game. I think that definitely favors TDM.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially if we're not going to see Fisherman Juan all inning Scurrility with any level of success anytime soon. Yeah, I would say so. I say just kind of letting this one scale out only favors TDM. I mean, you have Sagas down the bot lane, who's having an okay lane, definitely a much better one than last game, but probably not scaling hard enough to just carry his team outright. So yeah, it's definitely TDM's game to win or to lose, excuse me, in the late game. Bisq now working on taking that first Rift Herald. This could be big for them. They didn't get the first dragon, so trading this back could definitely be super effective. If they could drop this in the mid lane and get Fisherman Juan some pressure, but also some gold, really. That would be really, really big. But, you know, basically any lane you drop this in, it's going to be the same amount of gold plating no matter what. So
I think you're right with the mid lane thing. I think you want to get Hextech Gunblade on Fisherman Juan as soon as possible, because he's the one that's going to have the damage start tearing through these carries on TDM when these team fights start coming up. And after already giving away first dragon, I don't think you want to give away anymore if you are SuperNova. Your champions should be coming online right now. You are going to have Gunblade on Juan soon. You're going to have first item Warrior on Bisq soon. Blade of the Rune King for JT relatively soon. You want to be taking advantage of your champion's inherent sort of skirmishing power. And to SuperNova's credit, they have done that. And now Scurrility too far forward, getting flashed on by Bisq. He's got nowhere to go, doing a lot of damage to Fisherman Juan, but not quite enough. Finished off by the Void Rush from Bisq. That's first blood 10 minutes in, going over to the Landshark. Now a counter game coming through from Demonic Xmas. There's a roam coming over from player 10 as well. Got the call. The Forge got Fisherman Juan caught up in the middle. A nice predict on the hop. Demonic Xmas finding one kill. Tunnel. Player 10 picking up the other. 2 kills traded back.
Yeah, Bisq almost made it to that tunnel there over in the red pit, almost got away, but yeah, eventually both of them died for their sins, taking down Scurrility, but could be a fight in the bottom lane. No, just some just some trading coming through actually, so nothing too much, but yeah, eventually Fisherman Juan and Bisq just had enough burst damage to be able to contend with Scurrility, and they pulled the trigger on it. But I don't know if you noticed that fight, Baymax, but it didn't seem like either Bisq or Fisherman Juan could have 1v1 Scurrility. They definitely needed each other to pull that.
It was still close. It was still close.
Yeah,
they were both really low. That was crazy.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, immediately Demonic Xmas comes in with the counter gank and player 10, and they just finish them off. That just kind of giving you an idea of how low both of them were, both very low in resources there after the fight with Scurrility. But yeah, I think that theme probably continues into the present now as well. I don't think Fisherman Juan can 1v1 Scurrility still. They still don't have Hextech Gunblade either. That's going to be a huge step towards getting more survivability in these fights. Obviously, you get more damage too, but I really feel like just kind of being able to ult when you're Katarina and not dying as fast as you normally would be is a really impactful thing. So Hextech Gunblade is going to be really, really big for them. But yeah, it's going to be a while before you can one-shot Scurrility. It's just snowballing.
Speaking of one-shotting, Bisq over the wall, the dragon onto Mega Bro. He's just gone. Doesn't even have time to blink. Demonic Xmas has arrived, though, looking to trade it back. Gonna go ahead and pick up that one with the Permafrost. A 1-for-1, but you know what? That's a jungler for a support, and Dragon is on the map. TDM moving in to punish Bisq for dying.
Yeah, this is essentially just TDM's Dragon. I mean, there's not, I guess, barring a True Shot Barrage, actually it's on cooldown. So yeah, no, there's just nothing here that they could do. Yeah.
Ooh, Dark Finding. Jay the Deep's looking for something. Smarted away by Demonic Xmas. Honestly, you have to imagine there's no way SuperNova can win this fight. Such as David is popping the Killer Instinct. That's 1 kill down. And here comes Scurrility looking for more. Sagas is next in line to follow. Fisherman Juan says, I want to get in on the fun. I'm going to try to go in and kill Demonic Xmas, but the Deathlow is not doing enough damage. It's a triple kill. Or quadra. Triple kill in the dragon fight, and while all that was happening, top lane, player 10, 1v1 JT, that was a 4-for-0. 4-for-0 across the map in favor of TDM. 5-for-1 if you count Bisq trading for Mega Bro before any of those fights started. Still, massive swing for TDM. Huge.
Yeah, a huge trade for them. Indeed, a huge play. Very well played across the map there. They pick up the second dragon as well, which is pretty big. We see this team go for... oh, True Shot Barrage there on the Suds in the bot lane. I did quite a bit of damage there, but we see both TDM and Team SuperNova go for that Dragon Soul win condition quite often. I would say probably... SuperNova probably more often than TDM, but I mean, if they've got both the dragons, I don't think there's a team in the league that wouldn't appreciate a good Dragon Soul, and it is going to be Ocean Soul as well, so very, very impactful indeed. They would be pretty much unstoppable with Ocean Soul, I would say. Scurrility just kind of not being able to be killed anymore. Certainly player 10. Oh, this is going to be the gank.
Yeah, speaking of not being able to be killed anymore, he is going to go down.
Oh.
No flash, no exhaust, no way out. That's a big shutdown kill going over to Fisherman Juan. He's probably going to have his gunblade after that one.
Yeah, and that one was way more convincing than the last couple of ganks have been. Still the same result, but I don't think Fisherman Juan or Bisk even took any damage. Skrilly just didn't have time on that one. JT has been looking for this solo kill on player 10 for most of the game and not getting like anywhere close to it. He might start to be changing that though. They might even go for the dive here. Bisk is up in the top side, looking to kind of get around this terrain.
Call the Forge God is a couple seconds from being up. A nice double knockup. Bisk is taking so much turret aggro, uses the Void Rush to try to cancel it all out. Player 10 still somehow alive. Turret almost taking JT down, forcing him out of range. But
Bisk.
he cannot tank for long enough. Bisk is going to go down to the boss side of the map. A gang from Demonic, Xmas, Sagus, and Jay of the Deeps are both dead after so many resources invested top lane, so much time. From Bisk, it was a 1-for-1, and bot lane, a totally different story. Demonic Xmas getting much more out of his gank. Now looking bot lane, Fisherman Juan might try to get something back, but I don't think he's going to be able to.
Yeah, that would just be the mistake at this juncture, I think, going in with even with the Death Lotus. But yeah, 3-for-1 in favor of TDM. Both turrets traded in the side lane, but critically, it was TDM to pick theirs up first, so they get that extra bonus gold. Death Lotus on Skrilly does basically nothing.
Be in trouble. Basically nothing. He's almost dead, Axeman, but not quite. Teleport from player 10 into a Call of the Forge God means that Fisherman Juan is gonna go down in just a few short seconds, or maybe not. Spell Shield from Jay of the Deep's keeping him alive. And now a counter teleport from JT. Player 10 might be the one finding himself too far forward. Both junglers have arrived as well. Both mid laners from these teams just scooting out of that fight with just a little bit of HP left. Now a re-engage coming through potentially from player 10. Searing charge onto JT. Winter's Wrath not going to connect from Demonic Xmas. JT going to be able to walk out of that one alive. I cannot believe no one died in that fight.
Yeah, definitely. Fisherman Juan still not quite being able to all-in Skrility. I'm not sure how much of that was just Skrility flashing away from some of the damage there, but it's definitely getting closer, right? You'd think it won't be too long now, but Bisk, oh my, what is this?
Over Herald flash forward from Bisk, a 1-for-1 already. Mega Bro trading his life for Bisk, but JT, he is going to be next in line for the Death Realm, going down a double kill for Suds. Jay of the Deeps running, kiting backward, trying to get out alive. Scurrility back in the map as well, getting mid lane pressure over in favor of TDM. Got to imagine SuperNova is going to have to give this Herald up.
Yeah, this one's just going over to TDM, and they will pick up that Rift Herald. I believe this is their first Rift Herald, so both teams picking up one. Fisherman Juan still can't really touch Skrility, doing some damage here and there, but lacking that all in. Still, Rift Herald's going to be dropped in the mid lane. This should take out the turret, I believe, with the charge. If not, it'll be close. We'll see if we can get it here.
Later.
Yeah, it'll get it there. There we go. Bisk might be looking for the flank, but that might be a mistake here. And yeah, TDM is just going to back off. They're going to be looking for the dragon, which is up in 5 seconds. This will be their third one, so put them on soul point, which is very, very bad news for Team SuperNova. And
really, look at a contest though. Dark Blade and player 10. He's taking a bunch of damage. Call the Forge God, but used though. He is a tanky Ornn. And now a bunch of damage from the Moonlight Vigil. Skrility untouched, just mowing down the backline. Big Death Lotus from Fisherman Juan. He lived a long time, got a lot of damage off, but not quite enough. Triple kill, quadra kill. No, not quadra kill. Triple kill for Skrility. A 5-for-1 player 10. He died, but he tanked for so long.
Yeah, I don't know, Baymax. I feel like the Death Lotuses aren't doing very much damage. Maybe I'm just missing it, but It seems like as soon as I
he
see it
did
channeled,
like all of the damage to Scarility.
I mean,
and Mega
but
Bro. He did like all.
Scarility still has half their health left. Like we're talking about an assassin's ultimate. I feel like you're almost one-shotting carries, but yeah, I don't know. They're just not doing enough damage.
Yeah, you're right. Fisherman Juan is behind, and if he wasn't quite as behind, that might have been a drastically different fight. But he is behind. He's not doing that much damage. Still though, don't want to underestimate
this isn't
that
good.
Bonus. This is not ideal. You know?
Oh no.
The support.
Wait, the Vine Lasher though. Wait, the Lasher? Oh, okay. I thought they were just gonna casually 1v1 Morgana there. That was pretty funny. But yeah, Jay the Deep is able to get away from the Lasher eventually. Yeah, catching out Mega Bro. Unfortunate back.
I am very surprised that Jay the Deep came out on top of the support 1v1 there without using his ultimate, by the way. No Death Shackle or no Soul Shackles.
Yeah, I think Mega Bro was already pretty low there. I think that might have been the case, and also backing. Just kind of nailed the Dark Bind in from Fog of War, and that was pretty much the end of the story there. Fisherman Juan is able to pick up the turret in the mid lane, trading back a little bit of objective control back on a Summoner's Rift. They don't really have much anymore. TDM, of course, are now on Soul Point. Baron is up in less than a minute now, so those objectives are going to start ramping up for us very soon. I think Team SuperNova's best chance is maybe try to trade the Baron for the... See, even as I'm saying it,
Team SuperNova's best chance is to catch out Scarility right here, right now. Flash forward from Jay of the Deeps. That's a big shutdown kill going over to Fisherman Juan. If he is going to be the key carry, a lot of shutdown gold might be what he needs to fulfill that role to a better extent. Still, though, you have to imagine Scarility, once he's got that flashback up, he's going to be a lot harder to catch out like that.
Yeah, definitely, and you know, he just has the one item at the moment, so even at like 2-3 items, it's gonna be really who's catching out who, because Scarility's gonna be able to 1v1 most of these champions. It's gonna take 2 or 3 of them to really stand a chance at killing them, but we saw the 3 champions there, and the setup from Jay the Deeps, and also the burst coming from Sagas and Fisherman Juan, and that did the trick for the time being. So at this point, I feel like I need somebody to just follow Scarility around if I'm TDM. Because
Demonic Xmas do not leave his side. Never.
Yeah, really. And I feel like Scarility isn't the type to kind of play safe as far as positioning goes. In a macro sense, they're just going to shove out lanes. Oh, here's Death Lotus, but I don't know, Baymax. I feel like... oh, man. Oh, wow!
Yeah. Wasn't particularly impactful. Teleport coming through though. A nice shutdown onto Sagas from the True Shot Barrage, and Call the Forge God onto Sagas. He's forced to Arcane Shift away from that one. A little bit of a re-engage there coming through from TDM, and that was a pretty nice pick coming through. Sagas picking up a kill for himself.
Yeah, got that one with the True Shot Barrage. Suds Dividus did not see that coming. Or if they did, they weren't able to get out in time. JT, this is a good flank.
Yeah, it could be a good flank. He's got the Showstopper flash forward, but the Facebreaker not quite going to connect. He can only find player 10, and player 10 is very tanky, but when faced with 4 members of SuperNova, he does go down. Now Scarility is next in Sagas' sights. A shutdown kill, another kill onto Scarility going over in favor of Sagas, in favor of SuperNova. They are making some of these fight wins come through, and guess what, X-Man? Scarility's flash and exhaust in that fight.
Yeah, and lost their lives anyway, so very, very good fight for Team SuperNova there. Take a look at the gold real quick. Most of the gold is actually stacked on a Demonic Xmas, which isn't something that I expected to see, but I guess this has been just a Monster Sejuani game that I just have completely missed. 509 is the scoreline on the Sejuani.
Oh yeah, he's unkillable.
Very, very
he
well.
is
Yeah,
so hard
basically. Actually has like about 2,000 more gold than Scarility does, so maybe this is just the Demonic Xmas show and we haven't been casting it yet. I don't know. This is a massive Sejuani. So much objective control at the moment. Next dragon in 15 seconds. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, you know, crucially, TDM are going to have all their ultimates available except for the Moonlight Vigil for this fight. And Demonic Xmas, look how tanky he is. JT cannot do anything. And I think TDM, they are heavily favored to win this fight because they're up a little bit in gold and they've got all their ultimates available. Their ultimates are huge. Scarility safely planted in the backline. Vision control in favor of TDM. I will say, potential flank from Fisherman Juan could be big. Glacial Prison gonna miss, go totally wide. That could be huge as well. Nice Facebreaker onto 2. Scarility is already dead before the fight even began. How do you let that happen, Team Dark Matter? How do you let that happen? A 4-for-0 so far. scratched a 3 for nothing, traded 1 back. Demonic Express finding a kill on Fisherman Juan, barely scooching out of that fight alive. Not quite. Shut down on the Sagus. Mystic Shot finding a kill. Double kill for Sagus. 5 for 1, and Dragon almost certainly get over for SuperNova. TDM, why? What happens?
I feel like it was just unfortunate positioning. Maybe either unfortunate or maybe just negligent, I guess.
I'll say this, X-Man. You have the vision control. You know where Fisherman Juan is. I think they knew that JT was on the flank as well. You cannot be using those big ultimates like the Glacial Prison to look for random picks onto Sagus or onto Bisque. You can't do that. You got to hold those. You got to peel for Scurrility, and Scurrility was left to die. And as a result, TDM were left to die. And now the Baron is in SuperNova sights.
Yeah, definitely. I think the goal here at this point is really to just peel for Suds' and Scurrility, like you mentioned. And yeah, I mean, with the Glacial Prison, oh, that was close.
Was close, but no cigar. Now Bisque actually looking for the fight. Gonna look for a passage onto Scurrility. Gonna go down to another Fisherman Juan kill coming through. Showstopper onto the backline. Leaves JT with a little more than he bargained for. Ends up getting traded over. Kill onto Suds' Dip. And it's not Demonic Xmas looking for the hunt on the Sejuani. Glacial Prison back available. Might be able to catch out Fisherman Juan here, but decides against it ultimately. Trading 3 kills for 2, but Baron in the hands of SuperNova.
Yeah, they got Baron. They picked up their first Dragon of the game as well, delaying the Dragon Soul for TDM. Very, very big play for Team SuperNova. And at this point, you know, they have the gold lead. So it really is TDM looking for the comeback. Now, literally any dragon between here and Dragon Soul being picked up for Team SuperNova will be the soul for TDM. So, you know, Team SuperNova aren't out of the woods yet. They got to start trying to think about ways they can close this game out, or it's almost certainly will be the Dragon Soul for TDM. I mean, you can't protect every dragon, right? They're not that far ahead right now, so you got to be careful. They're really only doing the math like 400 gold in the lead, so gold is essentially even at this moment.
Gold is essentially even, and I still think TDM have the scaling advantage, but I gotta say, X-Man, I am not at all encouraged by TDM's performances in some of these last team fights. I think their odds of winning, you know, they're good if they play around each other, if they protect their flanks, if they play front to back. They did that pretty well last game. They played around each other well. They set up team fights well. They've got to start getting back in the swing of things. They got to start feeling out SuperNova's team comp again here, because you know, Fisherman Juan and JT are just being left to find these flanks and to find the picks on Scurrility and Suds' Dipidus, and that can't happen, right? If you are Demonic Xmas and you are player 10, right now, your priority is making sure Scurrility and Suds stay alive. You are almost always going to be using your ultimate and your crowd control onto Bisque or onto Fisherman Juan, maybe onto Sagus, but probably Fisherman Juan. I would say he is the priority target right now. If you look in these last couple team fights, he has been the one doing the majority of the damage to these key carries.
Yeah, definitely. You know, that's where most of the, especially the team fight damage, I feel like is going to come. Is the Death Lotus and other AoE abilities from Katarina. There is going to be some single target damage coming through from Sagus, which is going to be impactful, but really depending on how TDM play and how they position, they could completely eliminate most of the damage from Ezreal just by kind of frontlining for the carries, right? Just literally standing between them and the Ezreal. So yeah, I agree. Fisherman Juan is going to be the majority of the damage getting on the back line, at least at the beginning of the fight. Once the front line goes down or has to back off, then Sagus has the chance to shine a little bit more. But up till then, it's going to be pretty much just Fisherman Juan. Top lane, 1v1, going pretty much just how it's gone most of this game. Both champions doing some either true damage or percent missing health damage to each other. So yeah, it's kind of a slow one up there. But meanwhile, down the bot side of the map, the 4v4 still not heating up quite yet. It is looking like Team SuperNova are pushing in that bottom lane, so they might have to fight over the turret here in a bit. But SuperNova look like they're taking the reset.
Yeah, you know, pretty hard to siege into the wave clear that TDM have without any sort of a Baron buff or maybe a Dragon Soul. of one form or another. And with the dragon spawning in under 60 seconds now, neither team wants to sort of overextend and get picked before that spawns. But the reset timers coming through from SuperNova actually mean that right now TDM are being given a perfect opportunity to swoop in and secure vision control around this dragon. Make sure that what happened last time does not happen again. Make sure that JT and Fisherman Juan do not find those flanks that SuperNova need to win a fight. And right now, TDM does have vision control in the area. They've got significantly better vision than they had last time around. Still, though, honestly, not quite as much as I maybe would have liked to see. But Demonic Xmas in the front, helping Scurrility and Megabro to clear out this vision. This is a better Team Dark Matter than last Dragon fight.
Yep, it certainly is. With teleport channel from JT, it's going to be a 5v5.
Ooh, that flank could be good. He could run around behind the pit and showstopper somebody.
Oh,
wait, Scurrity's going to get caught out of flash. Showstopper, he's going to have to burn the flash straight away. But still alive in the backline. Fisherman Juan is dead. Team Dark Matter, they could wipe this fight. Scurrility and Sudden Snippet is dropping kind of low, but still alive. Sagas is the last one, the last carry from SuperNova that could win this for SuperNova, and he is going to go down. Scurrility finally getting picked up by, I'm not even sure who on SuperNova got the kill, but it doesn't matter. That's an ace for TDM. And Axeman, it was a close team fight, but it was a one-team fight for TDM. And like you mentioned, this is a Dragon Soul for them.
Yep, this is going to be Dragon Soul, and Jay the D's picked up the kill, the last kill onto Scurrility there in that fight. So I'm not sure if it was a shutdown. I don't think it was, but regardless, that gold is going over to the Morgana. So unfortunate there for Team SuperNova. They actually don't get too much in that fight. I mean, obviously they got 3 kills, but it doesn't really feel that good when faced with losing the Ocean Soul. So it is going to be Elder Dragon that is spawning in 5.5 minutes now, and Baron coming up in 15 seconds. So those are the objectives that are coming up. And yeah, both teams kind of looking to get the last little bit of farm before we start looking for the Baron here. I have to imagine that this is going to be a very, very difficult fight for Team SuperNova. I mean, the TDM has the Ocean Soul now.
We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I mean, I think a big Death Lotus from Fisherman Juan could still spell doom for TDM, right? Death Lotus actually applies Grievous Wounds to targets in the AoE. For those who don't know, Death Lotus actually applies a little bit better than Grievous Wounds. It's 60% healing and HP regeneration debuff for 3 seconds. So it's a pretty significant debuff that if a proper Death Lotus does come through, could still spell doom for Scurrility and Sudden Snippet. But again, I think it all is going to come down to vision control and TDM's front line, where they can position. Right now, there's an excellent flank from Fisherman Juan over this Baron. Showstopper, JT might be going down, but not before a double kill on the side. This is Mega Bro and Scurrility's next. That's all 3 damage sources for TDM dead. It's only the front line left alive. You cannot be up that far without Sejuani or Ornn. Now player 10 and Demonic Xmas running for their lives, running for the base. They are trying to salvage what they can and clear this wave and keep the push from SuperNova from coming to fruition here, and they might be able to save the base. But Axeman, TDM, why are you so far away from your front line? Why do you let that flank happen? I'm getting tilted. I can't watch this. Oh my god, it was a good look from SuperNova though. That was an excellent flank from Fisherman Juan. I'm impressed by the flank, but again, you cannot be that far up without your front line. Now Baron, more than likely to go over to SuperNova here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're going to pick this one up pretty easily, and now it's player 10. And Demonic X is kind of running for their lives back to their base. But, yeah, you said it exactly right. JT just kind of absolutely dunked. I actually didn't see who it was, but they dunked somebody onto the back line
I think it was Mega Bro, or maybe it didn't really matter. It was just like, it didn't matter because it was only the 3 squishies. He could have grabbed anybody as long as he can start the fight. Demonic Xmas and player 10 weren't there. It was a 3 versus 5. I gotta say, like, yeah, Team Dark Man, you just cannot step up that far without your front line.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very good ult from JT. Pretty sure he picked up somebody, maybe Mega Bro, but then dunked them also onto the other 2 carries, which is nuts to me. I mean, you got like a 3 for 3 on the carries with the ultimate. It's a single target ultimate. So very, very well done from JT. But after that, you're right, Fisherman Juan just coming in, and Sagas as well on the flank, and that was the end of that fight. Really more a positioning error on the part of TDM than anything SuperNova did. I guess they executed very well, so good on them for that. But now they're kind of back in a position of power. They had the gold lead back at almost 2K, or almost 3K, excuse me. And yeah, I mean, they don't have the Ocean Soul, but they do have the Baron buff. on several members. And actually, I think it might be all members. I don't think they actually lost anybody taking the Baron. So that's pretty rough for them. They got the 1-3-1 going on right now, pushing in all lanes. So TDM is losing quite a bit of pressure at the moment. They're about to lose structures if they're not careful.
Well, we'll see, because TDM have really, really good wave clear, especially if Scurility's got that flamethrower available, so he can just clear those waves ridiculously quickly if he needs to. I do want to emphasize, I still think TDM is in a strong position because they've got the Ocean Soul, and again, their team comp is strong at countering what SuperNova want to do, but it's all about controlling vision, controlling flanks, making sure you track where Fisherman Juan is and where JT are. Those are the two win conditions for SuperNova. It's basically a big flank from JT or a big flank from Juan. And right now, Juan is known. He's spotted out. Those sorts of flanks get a lot harder when you're trying to push into somebody's base, right? When you're pushing into where they have all the control, where they have the turrets, where they have the vision, those flanks are much easier to be had when you're talking about, like, we're fighting over a dragon, we're fighting over a baron, we're picking a fight in the jungle somewhere. That's when those flanks can really come in to a large degree. So there's a very strong chance that we'll be waiting until an Elder Dragon before any real chance for either of these teams to find a big win.
Yeah, absolutely. Sagas is definitely getting a lot of gold out of this Baron power play. 250 CS at the present time. It's quite a bit of gold indeed. If I'm not mistaken, they have the most gold in the game right now. So I know we were saying that the Ezreal performance wasn't too good in game 1, but this has been a very, very different game 2 here. Sagas now probably the strongest champion on the map at the moment. Count the items here, 4 items, and one of them's Triforce, so that's pretty big.
Yeah, definitely can't disagree with you. Sagas is making me take back what I said in game number 1. I said it was the Swain pick. Screw you, I'm good at Ezreal. Like, all right, I believe you. He's definitely doing pretty well this game. Good on him to stay alive and to navigate. He's been navigating these fights very, very well. Now, Elder Dragon spawning relatively soon. TDM moving forward to clear vision. JT and Player 10 both topside, both having teleport available, so keep an eye out for those TP flanks in this next coming fight. But right now, vision control slowly being ceded in favor of Team Dark Matter. Fisherman Juan and Jay the Deeps using their sweepers to try to maintain control. Looks like about half and half on this vision control. Top half of the river, Team Dark Matter. Bottom half, SuperNova. We'll see who actually has the guts to start up this dragon in a few seconds, but for right now, both teams just sort of dancing around it.
Yeah, both top laners can cancel each other's teleports as well, so you're kind of watching them both just kind of hoof it the hard way here to the dragon pit. Neither of them want to.
I think this is good positioning from TDM if they want to pick a fight here. Fisherman Juan is known. He's going to have a hard time finding a good flank onto Scurrility. Scurrility Moonlight Vigil. Fisherman Juan going in. Got a Zhonya's to keep him alive. Big call. The force got onto 3. Into the backline with the killer instinct. Started doing a lot of damage. Going to end up going down to Fisherman Juan, though. Not before a stopwatch keeps him alive, but the rest of SuperNova is dead. Fisherman Juan, you're in a 1 versus 3. Scurrility still alive. The front line for TDM still alive. That was the fight that TDM needed, and they got it. Elder Dragon gonna go down. That is definitely making this game look a whole lot better for TDM.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if TDM can end. How do you feel about that? They're definitely gonna get an inhib.
I think they can get an inhib. Well, you know, Aphelios pushes pretty fast, and there's probably Demolish on Orin on player 10. But my guess is inhib, because
they're pushing very fast.
Yeah. Only 15 seconds on Sagas though, and Jay the Deeps is up in only 5 seconds. It will be a 3.
They're gonna try it.
They are gonna try. Demonic Xmas taking up this turret, and remember, still have the Elder Dragon buff. They want to look for a fight. First Nexus turret already dead. Demonic Xmas though taking a lot of damage. Fisherman Juan got the Death Lotus. TDM, don't get too greedy here. You got Baron buff up. That will be, Baron is spawning soon. That is free with an Elder Dragon buff, right? Just don't get too greedy. Don't throw it away now. I am so happy they backed off of that.
Yeah, and it looked like Scurrility ran out of ammo on the Severum there. That might have contributed to why they backed off a little bit. It's a little bit harder to push with Calibrum, I would imagine. They do still have some ammo up for Chakram. So that's definitely something they can still use in team fights. But I would think if you're going to go for Baron, you just kind of use the Calibrum shots on this one. And yeah, it looks like that's what is going to be done here. They are taking that so fast.
Ooh,
That was wild, Baymax.
thought the true shot barrage might come through for the miracle still, but didn't happen. This is bad news bears for SuperNova, right? Both epic monster buffs in the hands of TDM. Wait, they might try to anti-ram it down mid here.
Yeah. I mean, they probably can, to be honest. I don't see SuperNova winning this fight, so.
You know, only one Nexus turret standing for SuperNova. They've got to try to fight around that turret, I think, and they've got decent wave clear to try to clear out these minions, but it's probably not going to be good enough. All ultimates available for TDM. This is probably going to be the end of the game fight here. JT and Fisherman Juan not in a position to look for a flank. Remember, we talked about how fighting in bases is really difficult for teams that are looking for flanks like this. Call the Forge God onto.
Oh my!
Wow, Sega's chunk so low. Elder Dragon buff finding the execute. Now it's on the backline with JT. He's got Scurrility, but who else does he got? Scurrility's got the stopwatch to keep himself alive. Bisque diving forward with the Void Rush, but he finds nothing except a stasis. Jay Leap's the last one standing. He's going to go down. X-Man TDM, they tried to throw. They almost snatched defeat from the jaws of victory, but they didn't quite manage to do that. TDM, they end up winning game number 2.
Yeah, they definitely do, and they take the series with that one. So very well played the TDM tonight. Had a killer series indeed. But yeah, it really just came down to objective control. Eventually, that Ocean Soul, the Elder Dragon, the Barons, that stuff stacks up and stacks up in a big way. So it seemed like, even sans one dragon, even if SuperNova had picked up like one, um, that that entire game goes so much more differently because SuperNova had the lead. They had the gold lead there towards the end of the game, and then all of a sudden, it was the Ocean Solo coming through, and that was pretty much it. That was the end of this game and the end of the series too. TDM picks it up in the Shurima group, and yeah, what a one to watch. Had a lot of fun.
I feel like both these. If I'm being honest, I feel like both these teams do not have especially good games. I liked some of the flanking coming through from Fisherman Juan in some of those fights, but in general, you're 100% right. I don't think SuperNova should have been in a position where they had to give nearly as many dragons as they did early on. I think they should have had pressure mid. They should have played around, being a Rek'Sai and a Katarina and a set. You have the tools to force fights early and win them. If TDM want to take the fight to you, if they want to fight over those jungle objectives, I don't think they would have had to have given up those dragons. I don't think TDM should have been able to get the Ocean Soul. But conversely, I really am not a fan of TDM's positioning in a lot of those team fights. I mean, I know I made it. I wasn't hiding it, but I think Demonic Xmas and Player 10 were not playing around their carries very well at all, and especially just I won't even single them out. I won't even single them out. I'd say Vision Control as a team was unimpressive from TDM. They didn't position well in some of those dragon fights, and they almost snatched defeat from the jaws of victory a couple times. I was worried that SuperNova were gonna mount a comeback, even though TDM should have been ahead. And if I'm being 100% honest, I expect a little more than what I saw today from these Shurima teams, right? Shurima is the best that Style Esports has to offer. I feel like neither of these teams ended up playing especially cleanly. And so it was a fun series to watch, but at the end of the day, in terms of the playoffs, in terms of the bigger picture of this group, in terms of who is going to take down the top dogs, who is going to be a contender against the New England Stormwolves, right now, I'm not seeing someone. I feel like these teams are all sort of showing that they are a step below the Stormwolves.
Yeah, definitely. We might have to have a whole nother group just for the Stormwolves because at this point, I don't know who's going to be taking them down. Maybe, um, there's just a couple things that TDM and really Supernova needed to work on to really perfect their game. So I can see a world in which one of them challenges Stormwolves. They just got to make the right changes. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, in a lot of ways, the drafts. Um, Now, I made the comment that TDM weren't helping themselves out with that game one draft, the meme, the TDM can't draft meme. They did end up winning that game, but I'm not sure they win that game against the Stormwolves, Baymax. That might be rough.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, right? The ultimate goal is to win. You want to get to the finals and you want to bring it home. And there were good things from both these teams, right? And I'm being a little bit harsher on these teams because we are in the streamer group, because we are in the strongest group. Both these teams are strong teams. So when you're talking about the ultimate goal of winning everything, which is what your goal is, if you are in this group, I think both these teams have got a lot to work on, and I think that I said it already. You said it already. I think that for now, the New England Stormwolves. I feel like the New England Stormwolves were the true winner of this game. That's what I feel. That's what I feel like. Like I don't feel like either of these teams really won. Like Team Dark Matter won, but they did it kind of sloppy, especially in game two. Game one looked a lot better. Game two, that was I'm sorry guys, that was pretty sloppy. And the Stormwolves, if the Stormwolves are watching this, if I'm a Stormwolf, I'm probably feeling pretty good about what I just saw. Like these are the guys that we're playing against. We looked a lot cleaner than they have. So it was good, but you guys, we're talking about being the best, right? This is Shurima. You want to be the best. Play like the best. Get that coordination together. Get those team fights down. Secure better vision control, right? You got these big, beefy frontliners. You got Demonic Experts from Player 10. Buy some control wards. Send them in. Sleep out vision. Don't let JT or Fisherman Juan hide in those pushes for those cheese flanks, right? Don't let that stuff come through. You're better than that. You can keep those fights from happening. But with all that being said, I don't want to get too toxic. The chat wants an MVP, so maybe we should get an. Who do you think for MVP? I think.
Oh man, it's hard. It's real hard.
I want to give it to Demonic Xmas just because 7-1 and 18, like that is hard to
game
not
one.
Talk about.
Oh, yeah, game one was good too. Yeah,
game one was good too.
For Demonic Xmas, yeah,
was even better. Both games he did really well. I think Demonic Xmas, but
there's a lot of good stuff here. I mean, Suds has had a couple of really good games. I think if I win,
also the call to Forge Trap was huge from Player 10 in that last fight.
Yeah, that was really big. I feel like if I win a lane as Swain and Volibear support, I deserve an award. So I feel like Suds has maybe earned it through that one. But yeah, there was so much good stuff going on here. Obviously, Scurrility was a huge carry for their team both games. But yeah, for me, probably the shiniest star was probably Demonic Xmas on this one.
I would probably agree with that. Demonic Xmas had a very good series overall. A couple minor mistakes, but at the end of the day, I think he had a very good series, and I think he overall did pretty well. So if you want an MVP, I think we're gonna go with Demonic Xmas. He had a pretty good series. There's some nitpicky things I can talk about, but overall, definitely pretty impressed with how that went. And I do wanna apologize a little bit because I feel like I was starting to go off on TDM a couple times in the last game. I was getting frustrated. I was seeing some things. It's all too easy, right? When you're seeing everything, when you don't have that fog of war, it's all too easy to just come in and be like, oh, this is what they should have done. They should have stood here. They should have had this. But like I said, this is Shurima. You guys are the best of the best, and in terms of competing against the New England Stormwolves and like how clean they've been versus how clean these teams have been, I still think right now the undisputed leader of Shurima is going to be the Stormwolves. That they are showing a significant degree, a significantly higher degree of clarity, I guess, or of cleanness, of calculatedness in their positioning and their playing. They just look really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And
can we do an interview? Are we?
I feel like we might have a couple questions for Demonic Xmas. So
okay.
If we can get him in here in just a couple of seconds,
let's do it.
I'll try and work on that.
They want an interview. Let's do an interview. We're working on it.
You just keep monologuing, Baymax.
Oh, me? Oh, no. Okay. I thought I was going to go try to bring him in. I guess I don't have that power, huh? Well, we'll have him in here for a few seconds. I guess, chat, your wish is our command. We're going to look for an interview. We're going to figure this one out. So don't worry. Oh, we got him?
Is that the man himself?
Oh, my God. Demonic Xmas. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Ooh, you're really quiet. Is he quiet for
you? Turn him up.
Okay, you got him. Okay.
We got the levels.
All right, we can deal with it. We have the power. Okay.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
No problem. Congratulations on the win. How do you feel about those games that just got played here?
I think we did good. Overall, considering we had a lot of problems inting early game and not having a proper draft. Even though we heard that you guys didn't like our first draft that much, you guys were questioning us a bit too much. But we we showed you guys.
I'm skeptical of the Volibear support. First picking Volibear in general is just like a little bit weird to me. But you know what? It did work out. So
honestly, the only reason why we picked the Volibear because we knew that they were going to ban the Taric because Swain Taric is our thing. So we made Megabro experiment other supports that make the Swain work. And the Volibear turned out to be the perfect fit because his Q go through the minions. And so long as he gets the stun, the pool is guaranteed,
Oh.
Huh.
and that's all that
Okay.
mattered.
All right. Well, that's truly bizarre. Um, and I'm actually a little bit in shock hearing you say that. But I guess it worked. You won. So, I mean, what am I going to say, right? But yeah, definitely a great couple of games, man. We gave you the MVP. How do you, can you tell us about the build in game one, the J4 build? I mean, you went for the Warrior enchant. Where was your mind going after you finished that?
So as soon as I built that, I saw that their team wasn't really doing too good, and that I could still definitely at least kill one of them, even if I were to die. And knowing that, I was like, I think I still need to go damage, because at that point, I felt that it was not enough damage on our team. And then I just decided to go for the warrior and avoid the Cinder Hulk overall, because we had Squib for the tank duty and Mega Bro on
Gotcha.
the volley bear.
Yeah, and I feel like in a lot of ways you really bridged the gap. I mean, you had some pretty crazy late game carries, but they still need a little bit of time to get online. I know especially that Swain was having some trouble there around like 15, 20 minutes. But yeah, that was a hell of a game, man. I think you came out of that game with like 14 assists, the most in the game, which
Yeah,
was amazing to me. I mean, you built full damage and then just got the most assists. It was nuts.
yeah, thank
But
you.
yeah, very, very well played, man. Are we gonna see the Volibear support more often? Do you know?
Maybe in certain comps that we haven't shown yet, so definitely keep an eye out for that. We got
Gotcha.
Hmm.
All
some
right.
spicy stuff to show in the future.
Nice. Okay. I know I've been seeing some more marksmen in the jungle. Are you gonna jump on that train?
It depends who I'm going up against as a jungler. For example, like Bisk specifically, I know that he loves early game champs, so that's why I avoided that, because I knew if like I know where he is and I tell my team that, he will play an early game jungle, and if he doesn't get any kills, he'll just fall off, and that's what happened in the Sedge game. So it just really depends on who I'm playing against.
All right, gotcha. I believe both games you banned out the Olaf. Is that something you would ever consider not doing against Bisk?
Against Bisk, no, definitely
No.
won't ban the Olaf. Yeah, no, I don't want
That's
him.
funny.
He's really good on that champion, and he's really good with early game junglers overall. So no,
Yeah, it's
no.
always fun watching them play like a new champion of the league because we actually get to see the Olaf and then never again for the
Yep.
rest of the season.
Yeah, he's
um,
too strong early game,
yeah,
and
definitely,
no.
definitely. But that's all I had for you. You got anything else, Baymax?
Um, no questions, but I wanna ask you guys, moving forward, how I don't want to ask you. I want to tell you. You guys are always fun to watch. No matter what happens, I always appreciate casting a Team Dark Matter game. You guys are always super fun to watch. You have these crazy comps that you come through with, and even though if you watch the VODs, I might be a little bit harsh on you sometimes. I know, especially in the second game, you got a little bit tilted at some of those team fights, but you know what? You guys are fun to watch, and you do pull out a lot of wins. So I want to extend a gratitude from a caster. Thank you for making the games enjoyable, because you guys pull out some crazy stuff, and I am here for it. I love it.
Yeah, no problem. It's honestly, if ever since Axeman said that, made that meme that TDM doesn't know how to draft, we said we're gonna keep that meme alive, and we're just gonna come up with like the craziest things that will work
Fantastic.
just to keep the meme.
I love it. I
Absolutely.
love it.
All right, I'll kick it back to you, Baymax.
Oh, I was kicking it back to you, but that's okay. All right,
All right.
I
Okay.
thought you were doing the interview, but that's fine. I'll lead off with it. So thank you, Demonic Express. I think we're done here. I appreciate you spending a few minutes with us for this interview, and thank you so much for the games. Congratulations on the win, and have a fantastic night, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. And then with that, I think that's gonna about wrap it up. We give the chat the interview that they wanted, so I hope they're happy. Um, I don't know. Any last words, Axman, before I sign us off here?
No, I don't think I have anything. I'm looking forward to the end of the season. We should be getting pretty close. I believe next week, we'll get into the playoff brackets, but I could be the week after next week, I'm told, is when we'll get into the playoff brackets. So the season is starting to come to a close here, and don't miss these next couple of games coming up in the next few weeks.
Big shout out to Jarl Carl for being the host for tonight and for being the voice in our ears that clarifies when the season is going to be wrapped up. So thank you so much for that one. And Axeman, thank you for casting with me tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you to the audience for sticking with us for these games. I hope you had a blast. I certainly did. These teams are fun to watch. It's been real. It's been cool. It's been fun. We got all kinds of social media and stuff in the stream description. If you want to check out our Discord, check out our stream, all that good stuff. We are hanging around everywhere. We love talking to you guys. So, with all that out of the way, I think that's been enough monologuing, been enough rambling. So, I am Baymax. This has been Axeman. We are going to sign off for tonight. Thank you for watching this Shurima group broadcast on this fine Monday night. Have a fantastic evening, folks.